You think this is good? You ought to see what's going on behind that curtain. Boy, what a nice group.
Great crowd.
Yeah. Just in from the news desk. The Mount St. Helens ski lifts will be closed due to hot snow. Well, we got a great show tonight. This is a fantastic booking.
Yeah. What a parlay.
Bette Davis and Richard Pryor. On the same See, they've both been up for the same role so many times. Are you Winds of War out already? You've been watching Winds of War? Boy, it's long. I survived World War II, but I'm not sure I'm going to make it through this. Tonight's episode is the big, dramatic one. During a battle scene, an Army corpsman raises Bob Mitchum's eyelids to full mast. Allie McGraw has her big moment tonight in a face-to-face confrontation with Hitler. She says, war is never having to say, you're sorry. For those of you who missed the first 3 episodes of Winds of War, maybe I should bring you up to date. It's the story of, so far it's kind of a nice Jewish girl in her 30s, find love and happiness during World War II, traveling through Europe. Or should she return home, marry a nice Jewish doctor, and spend the rest of her life in safety in Bloomingdale's basement. Basically is the plot, and you can catch up with the rest of it tonight. Last night's episode, Robert Mitchum met Hitler and Mussolini. And you know what occurred to me? If John Wayne would have had that part, he would have killed them all and won the war in a 1-hour special. That would have been all of it. That would have been a 1-hour miniseries. Well, let's get off of that. As you probably know, the Democrats and Republicans are already squaring off for the 1984 presidential election, to be called the War of Winds. Gracious. Our Vice President, George Bush, is, you don't hear much about George. He's over in Europe, I guess, continuing his tour of 7 nations there. And you see, the Vice President doesn't get the first class. He doesn't fly Air Force One. He doesn't get the luxury things like the President. And it's embarrassing to see the Vice President of the United States with a knapsack standing out on the Autobahn holding a sign that says Geneva. Bush, as you probably know, is in Germany, and he tried to emulate JFK's famous speech. Remember that one where JFK in Berlin says, I am a Berliner. Unfortunately, Bush was in Frankfurt. It came out kind of silly. I'm a Frankfurter. Here's some news that may not surprise you. It was in the paper today. They made a study of living conditions in 170 nations throughout the world. And what country do you think they named as having the worst conditions in the world? No, no. Iran. Iran came out on the low part of the scale. I understand it's so bad there, when the Iranians want to cheer up, they take a princess cruise on the Love Canal. Do you think our economy's bad in this country? Over there in their mousetraps, they put IOUs. The Iranian sanitation department suffered a major setback last month. Their goat died. You know a country's in bad shape when the sewers have diving boards. Anyway. Any young one lives. Arizona Congress Morris Udall. Did you see his speech the other day? He told the National Press Club that he would not be a candidate for president. Udall dropped out of the race before he even announced that he was running. Why can't a smart man like that run for president? I like that. Did you see who's getting married? David Stockman. Our budget director in the United States is going to marry a girl by the name of Jennifer Bly in Washington. Personally, I'm glad to see David Stockman finally getting married. Now he's going to find out what real spending is. Wait till he tries to cut her social programs. And I'll bet not many of you know that today is William Henry Harrison's birthday. Oh. The 9th president of the United States, and he holds a record for one thing. He was the shortest term of all American presidents. He was in office 32 days. Did you know that? No. Yeah, he was the first president to die in office, and he never really found out if Harrisonomics was going to work. Now, for the wild item of the day, and I'm only reporting this, I'm not making it up, it was in the paper. There have been some instances of people who have bought boxes of Cracker Jacks. Have you read the item? And several people, instead of the regular prize, have found a little pamphlet giving sexual positions in boxes of Cracker Jack. Now, that beats the prize I used to get. I used to get a little plastic whistle with a P in it, you know. And in a related incident, a woman in the valley opened a box of birth control pills and found a tiny harmonica. Anyway, along with Miss Davis and Richard Pryor, later on Mr. T will be out here to plug his new book, How I Cured My Dandruff Problem. So thank you for coming. We'll be back in just a minute. What do we have here?
Oh, it's the Chinese Year of the Boar, Gung Hei Fa Choi.
That's the way you pronounce it in Chinese? Mm-hmm. Gung Hei
Fa Choi.
Fa Choi. And that's the Chinese, happy Chinese New Year, right? Yeah. What's your name?
Dana.
Hi, Dana. How are you?
Hi.
All righty. And here's how La Choi can make it a good one. Gung Hei Fa Choi. Thank you, Dana. I'm looking forward to the show tonight.
That is quite a combination.
I'm looking forward to the show tonight. Bette Davis and Richard Pryor. That should be fun.
Yeah.
We handed out some cards since Valentine's Day is only about, what, a week away, I guess?
Monday.
This coming Monday. Mm-hmm. And we just want to find out what was on the audience's mind. I looked at these briefly. Some of them, we had 3 cards we handed out. Complete this sentence. Love means... And the second question we ask, if you could pick anyone in the world to be your Valentine, who would they be and why? And what's your favorite romantic fantasy? I cannot read all of these cards without having the show being busted. You don't have to yell out where you are if you don't want to. Jim Ferguson?
Jim?
You hear Jim? Here's what Jim says. Love means never having to leave the money on the pillow.
Jim is a philosopher.
What a warm,
Yes.
warm sentiment.
Yes.
But Brenda Coleman? Thank you, Brenda. Love means never having to clean up the dog mess, particularly after it has rained. I think that's Willie Nelson's latest hit, isn't it? Never have to clean up the dog mess after it has rained. Patty Evans.
This is a strange crowd.
Love means always having to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Lady is dating the Three Stooges, I think. Richard Tilden, is that right? Richard? Love means cleaning the snow off the car and warming it up before she leaves for work.
Oh, that is love.
Warming what up? Surely, I can't read that. Complete the love means for sure, daddy, and no grody acne gag me with a spoon. That's Valley,
The Valley Girl.
that's from Jerry Brown. No, it's not. Love means take off your jeans. See that? Not having to say sorry about hitting you last night, dear. We have a warm group here tonight. Love means keeping your hands off my cookies. Says Cheryl. Oh, Ruth Starbuck? Is that right, Ruth?
Yes, Starbrand.
Starbrand. Love means always being there when he or she needs you, sharing the good and the bad, being faithful and honest with each other. That's nice.
Very nice.
You left out not turning the dog inside out. Obviously somebody's married here, cleaning his hair out of the drain. It's the little things in marriage that'll get you sooner or later. Leaving the cap off the toothpaste. Love means eating liverwurst 3 times a day. Now, let's see here. If you could pick anyone your Valentine, who would it be? Susie McSeaman? Is that right, Susie?
Susie?
Yeah.
Well, this sounds a little... She says Johnny Carson, so I would have some leverage and wouldn't have to wait in these lines. Who would be your Valentine and why? My husband, John... Oh, is this the same lady? Starbrand? No. Ruth Starbrand? My husband, John Starbrand, because he brought me all the way from Madison, Connecticut to see The Tonight Show. Isn't that sweet? Yeah. Mary Lee McCullens? McCubbins. I would pick Tommy Newsom because he is so cute and cuddly like a teddy bear.
Tommy's not here tonight.
He also has the hormones of a teddy bear, too. Shelley Winters, because I know there'd be plenty of chocolates always on hand. Cool audience. Some of these are... I can't really... Gasper?
That's a different question.
Yeah. What's your favorite romantic fantasy? It just says Gaspar. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a gentleman?
Yes.
My romantic fantasy is to have my wife come to bed before your show comes on. She stays up every night to watch you, and I get cheated on my sex life. Well, Gaspar, you'll just have to put on a better show than I do. Lynn Sponda?
Lynn?
Romantic fantasy to be on a deserted island with just me and my lover standing under a waterfall. That's kind of sweet. In lieu of that, you could stand on Alameda Boulevard and wait for the bus to drive over. Millie Werschmeyer? Is that right, Millie?
Yeah.
What is your favorite romantic fantasy? To be thought of as beautiful in a room full of men, especially older. That's our producer, Fred DeCordova's dream.
That's right.
Sherry, I can't read the last name. Sherry, something with an S? What?
Silvar.
You're Shelley? Or is Shelley with you? Waking up in a huge heart-shaped bathtub with Johnny Carson surrounded with candles, espousing the most beautiful monologue in the universal language. The language of love.
That's your, that's kind of your fantasy, too, isn't it?
Yeah, here's someone over there. What's your favorite romantic fantasy? Chocolate syrup. I don't think we should.
These are the ones you can read, right?
Joe Maritti. What's your favorite romantic fantasy? Is being in my own bed with my own wife.
Yeah.
California, that's a misdemeanor. No, it's not. What's your favorite romance fantasy? I'm Cinderella scrubbing the floor and a rich prince comes and sweeps me off my feet. Do you have a romantic fantasy?
Not really. How about you? Other than the tub and the candles.
No. I do, but it's,
Well, tell us about it.
Well,
the one about the oatmeal?
No, this involves it involves a forklift truck.
Right.
And 5 Eurasian girls.
Right.
It's weird, very weird.
And it takes place on the 18th degree?
No, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, those are Betty's. In just a moment, Bette Davis will join us, and Richard Pryor is here tonight. But first, here's some more good news from our friends at La Choy. Thank you, Doc. This list that I'm holding here is a list of the pictures that Bette Davis has made. It goes on and on and on, and it is such a great pleasure to introduce her. Her career speaks for itself, and the high quality of her work during her career speaks for itself. She's given everybody in the world so much pleasure, and she will star with Jimmy Stewart in a film which will be on home box office later this year. And to add to her many achievements, I don't know whether you knew this or not, she made an album in England in 1976, which apparently is again available in record stores, called Miss Bette Davis Sings. Would you welcome, please, Miss Bette Davis? That's the way they feel.
Johnny,
Yes, ma'am.
this is a red rose. It has a lot to do with Valentine's Day. You are not forced to be my Valentine. I'm not asking that of you. Also, this is to thank you for the night I was ill and couldn't come, and you made it very clear, you and Mr. Sheehan, that I was ill, as indeed I was. And I finally realized you have a hit show. I really got so many get well cards from your show.
That's
you
great.
do not believe it. And any of you who sent me some of those, I do thank you very much.
Well, isn't
Happy
that
Valentine's.
sweet? Thank you very much. No. Knowing you, only illness kept you off the show that night, and you.
Oh,
called and-
yes. I have a very Yankee thing about not promising and not doing. And it was
Right.
just, I actually had that flu bug for 4 weeks.
Right. You
Just
feeling?
the worst.
You feeling
yes,
good now?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
You know, I was thinking today the last time you were.
You
on
know
this
how long
show.
ago? Do you know they told me
Well, I
backstage?
can't believe it.
We must be bitter enemies.
I said it was something I said.
It's 10 years ago.
1972.
1972.
Did I do something wrong?
I don't. It's too long ago to remember.
I'd remember that you had made an album, and then somebody told me about it. You made this in 1976, recorded it
In England.
In England.
Yes, with Norman Newell at EMI. And he had wanted to make a record with me for years. And I've done lots of music in my life, 2 musicals in the theater, and I've either too young or too old, several things,
Right.
but there are many other songs on this. And I'd always wanted to make an LP.
Yeah.
And so I had the opportunity, but nobody in America bought it until now.
Isn't that strange?
So now, well, I thought it was terrible. They did not. I was absolutely livid. And as a matter of fact, I asked to come on your show this time. You did not ask me. I just want you to know that. Because I'm a sales lady tonight. I'm hoping that maybe this will help people buy this record if they know it's around.
Right.
Citadel Records. Oh, I must give the whole.
Including songs
I
from...
must give the whole name of the company.
Okay,
Which I don't really remember. And I must do it properly if I'm a sales lady.
certainly. Some of the songs are including songs from Whatever Happened to Baby
Oh,
Jane,
yes.
All About Eve.
Citadel Records, division of Verisa Saraban. Now, also, I had to give up signing this album at Tower Records in Westwood that same week.
When you were ill.
I am going to do it this Saturday, Westwood Tower Records. Now, interestingly enough, you know I've never gone on one of these shows to sell anything.
No, I don't think you...
I haven't. Not to sell a film. I just don't believe in selling yourself. But this record, I would be so thrilled if people bought it because EM... No.
You want to be a bullet on the charts, don't you?
Yeah. Because I was so incensed with EMI that they just dumped this record. So that's what would please me. Vengeance.
That's what I like. Vengeance is mine, saith Mr. Davis.
Vengeance is mine.
That's what I like, is honesty, right up.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. We're coming back. We got a lot of things to discuss. We'll be back in a moment. We're back. Thank you, Doc. When was the first time you sang in a film? Remember?
The first number was They're Either Too Young or Too Old.
Right.
And Mr. Lesser and Mr. Arthur Schwartz came to me and said they had an idea for me to do a musical number. Well, I roared with laughter, walked out and said, thanks a lot. But finally, in the long run, I did it. Of course, that number was during the war, and that was a hit. That was top of the, well, we both remember the Lucky Strike Parade.
Yes.
It was on for years. And that was the top number for 10 solid weeks.
Right.
Yes. Well, of course, Frankie Lesser, what words? I mean, how can you get better?
Yes. You've been described as a legend, an extraordinary actress. How would you like to be best remembered?
Is a good worker.
Just a good,
I have
solid
adored
professional.
the work. My goal was never the marvelous good fortune of the public. That was never my goal.
Right.
My goal was to do the best I could, and I just adored the work.
Right. When you were criticized, and I suppose there are times that all performers, artists have been criticized.
Well, actually, if you are never criticized, if everybody says, that's a very nice actress, good
Right.
actress, you have had it. You must have pros and you must have cons.
Right.
And heaven knows I've had a lot of cons. There's no question.
No, I do remember many of those.
Yes, many people. When I did my show in London, a wonderful English woman got up in the Palladium and said, I'm here alone tonight because my husband hates you.
Well, the lady was honest, I guess.
You just go right home and tell him, here, join the club. There are many who do.
That's kind of hard to answer. I was looking at the list of pictures that you've made, and they got to be over 100 motion pictures here.
Well, it's certainly in the area of 100. I have lost count.
You had two Academy Awards, 10 nominations, and every one of them for Best Actress, not
Yeah.
supporting. Mm-hmm. That is incredible. I don't know anybody else
I
has
was
been.
disappointed about a couple of them I didn't get.
Really?
I always wanted to be the first one who got 3.
Ah.
Miss Hepburn beat me.
And you still enjoy working?
Yes, nowadays.
Is the challenge still there?
Nowadays, not the same challenge.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
When
not
you're
the
young,
same
I mean.
challenge. Basically, I did it, you know. But once I get started working, if it's, for instance, like this picture with Jimmy Stewart, this was a thrill because to work with him, we never ever had, and it was just like it used to be.
Right.
Once I get beyond the makeup and the hours and taking the makeup off when you get home at night, which is
Right.
the worst bore of all. When I'm on the set working, I love it. but I do not get up and jump with joy at 6 o'clock in the morning.
You are not a nice person at 6 in the morning, you're
No,
saying.
I'm nice, but I just don't jump with joy.
Yes.
I begged William Wyler to make another film with me, for so many years after he retired. And he said, I've had every morning of my life getting up at 6 o'clock. I will never do it again. And those are the things that finally, it doesn't bother you when you're working very hard to accomplish a goal. But it isn't the same thrill. I have to admit that.
Right.
But I do always hope still that it's good. I haven't just sort of sat back and said, well, people have great respect for you and it doesn't really much matter what you do. That would never be for me.
You still have to have a pride in everything you do.
I still have to do it as well as I can.
Were there any actors or actresses that influenced you specifically at any time?
I don't know if influenced me. One of the passions of my life, of course, was Anna Magnani. Absolutely. And she had sort of the same reputation in her country that I finally ended up in mine. So I always said there was one in each country.
Right.
Influenced, I don't have a memory of being actually influenced.
Right.
I always wanted to have Katharine Hepburn's gorgeous face. You know, I would look at mine and say, why can't you look like that divine woman? So that kind of envy I may have had, but I don't think I was influenced, which is probably a very conceited remark.
No, but look at the people who probably have envied
I just
you.
went my own way. I just must have gone my own way, I guess.
And look at the people who probably have envied you in your career.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Has there been any actor or actress that you've really wanted to work with? You said, I find it interesting you'd never work with James Stewart.
No, you see, Gable, Stewart, all those marvelous people were Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. And I was
Those were the
Warner
studio
Brothers.
days,
and
weren't they?
you never went back and forth at all. Because people sort of couldn't believe Jimmy and I'd never worked together. There was never any opportunity, nor did we ever think we would.
Right. You think it is better for actors today to be a little more independent and not have the major
No, I
studio
think the
commitments?
contract system is a great lack for young players.
Right.
For young players.
To learn the craft.
Oh, yes, to learn the craft and to have that solid job week after week after week.
Did you ever do a picture you really didn't want to do?
Well, the first 2 years, I did every one I didn't want to do. Oh, yes, parachute jumper, housewife.
I saw that. Now, I don't remember
Bureau
Parachute
of
Jumper.
Oh, they don't put these on television, thank God. Bureau of Missing Persons. Golden. Horrible. They were what they called the B pictures in those days.
Right.
But
you were obligated under contract to do them.
Under contract, and I didn't have the position in the beginning. But we did learn our craft. But of course, I came from the theater. I'd been in the theater 4 or 5 years, so I had some knowledge of acting. But I think it's sad today, because with the contract system, there was such continuity.
Right.
You know, and that's why people got to know you, love you, and you became part of the family. They saw you year after year after year after year, and they bought properties for you, they bought plays for you. It's very difficult today to get scripts.
Right. Do you, are you a severe critic of yourself when you watch yourself? Really?
I've never appreciated, I have never liked what I have done. Every time I have finished a film in all these years, I say, now let's make it. Now I know what I'm doing. Because that's the worst of motion pictures. The first day you've got to play that character, because that first day will be shown just as much as your last day.
Right.
That is very difficult, as opposed to the theater where you rehearse.
But you must be happy with some of your work.
Well, now, when I'm removed and see some of them, I never could stand my face, of course. It was just one of those things. No, truthfully, never could stand my face. Directors kept me out of rushes because I'd be so depressed for days.
What didn't you like about your face?
I thought it was hideous. I couldn't stand it. Well, now I'm a great many years older, and I see some of those films, and I don't think there's any question I was the best-looking woman.
And sexy, too. Yeah.
Well, now...
And sexy, too.
And sexy, too. Now, have I lost all that?
No.
The sex part?
No.
I don't want it anymore.
Well, you can think about it, can't you? I mean...
No, I don't even think about it. In other words, I am not a frustrated woman in that way.
Good.
Fortunately, because I imagine I would have very few opportunities.
Yeah.
Very few.
What do you like to do now when you... what's a nice day for you to enjoy yourself?
My home.
Really?
Yes, I'm a very domestic person.
Sentimental?
Very sentimental about my things, my joy in the fact I have 3 children and 3 grandsons, and very domestic. And after about 6 months of this, I am ready to go to work again.
Right.
Yes, but that's about as much as I want to work.
Yeah. You got something coming up? Sure.
Not at the moment. No, not at the moment. I do not.
Yeah.
Scripts, I have been very fortunate with the networks, you see. I've had 4 of the greatest parts for my age in the last 2 or 3 years that anybody could ever have, and Right of Way is another one. And I personally think the networks are doing films about people much more than what they now snobbishly call theatrical films. You see, it's now television films and theatrical films, and you're not really in if you're not making theatrical films. I think the networks are doing some absolutely incredible scripts. I mean it. Incredible scripts.
One thing you did...
Did you see Thursday's Child the other night?
No, I did not. I understand it was
wonderful. Vicki Poole, who wrote that book, was my neighbor in Portland, Maine. And I knew that whole family, and Sam, and all of them. And, well, it's an incredible book, an incredible story. But that's just one of many, many. Right of Way is another great script. Just great.
Good. We're going to take a break. And you know Richard Pryor, don't you?
We just met backstage for one fleeting second.
All righty. Well, we'll have a couple more fleeting seconds out here.
That's right.
Would you walk? We'll be right back. We're not going to get your record. This is mine.
Well, I haven't got one.
Well, we'll get you one at Tower Records next week.
I'll steal one at Tower.
Steal one at Tower. This is mine. My next guest is one of... I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't think he's one of the funniest men. I think he's the funniest man working anywhere in the world today. His new motion picture, The Toy, is running currently, and he's co-starring in the next edition of Superman. Richard Pryor.
Thank you. I just want to say that I'm really honored to be here with you. I love you very much, and I'm really pleased to be here. I'm really nervous.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
How about me?
Well, I care for you very much, you know that.
I know you do.
I thank you for letting people know I was sick, too, the time I couldn't come.
That's right, you were in Hawaii.
Yeah.
No, it's true. He was in Hawaii, and you called me the next day, and you said, I'm not feeling well. And I said, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
a lot of people say, hey, I'm not feeling good, and they don't show, but you got on the phone and called.
Thank you.
From,
I mean, some people do not show, but don't call.
It has happened where...
It has really happened?
Yeah, where somebody will just hear that they're not feeling well, and...
And so they don't bother to call?
Yeah.
Charming.
I don't know anyone who could say as much with that word as you could. Charming, yes. So how you been, though? Is this a new walking stick or something?
Oh, I got this in Zimbabwe when I was
Were you in
leaving.
Zimbabwe?
Yeah. And I was leaving, and a gentleman gave this to me, and I'm going to keep it till I go back in April. I want him to know I still have it. So
What is it?
keep with me.
Just a walking stick?
A walking stick, and you can
Made out of some kind of a
hit people with it.
special wood? That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's very beautiful. Looks like
Yes,
handmade.
I hope so.
What were you doing in Zimbabwe?
I just went. A friend of mine lives there. And
You have a time-sharing condo there or something? I didn't know.
No, I just finished Superman in England, and I flew over there, and it's great.
Yeah?
It is great. The nicest people on the earth. This is really one of the nicest places on earth. I mean, you can go at night. I get up at the hotel at about 11 at night, and you go to the park, and you sit in the park, and you see older ladies walking.
Yeah.
You know, and there's never no rapes or murders or people getting robbed.
Yeah.
You know, and not many people knew me then. It was really nice to be somewhere and just walk down the street.
And anonymously, and
Yeah,
they didn't know you.
No, and look in the window. Sometimes when you see women, you know, I try to get that look on my face, like they should recognize me or something.
Yeah. Hi there, how are you?
And I had a feeling they were saying, "What is wrong with that idiot? Why is he?" Yeah.
Did you miss not being recognized? There have been cases that I know of entertainers in this country who have gone to another country and think, "Boy, I really want to get lost here so nobody will know me," which is good for about a day. Then all of a sudden they go to a restaurant and the maitre d' just looks at them because they don't know who they are, and all of a sudden they come back home and it starts to bother
I
them.
find those feelings exciting to me.
Really?
To feel that, because it's been like 15 years for me since somebody just, except the IRS, hasn't recognized me. And,
They're kind of pen pals of yours, aren't they?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I really
That was
enjoyed
great.
it.
How long were you there?
I was there about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. This time, I'm going back for a month.
Yeah, sounds good. The Toy.
Yes.
With Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
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 That's out now.
Yep.
Do you like it? Yeah. Guess we've established that. Did you take your kids to see it?
No, my children went. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it.
Come
but
on
my
now.
children, no.
Why not?
I'm afraid I don't like to go when I'm in a
Well, now, Miss
I
Davis
haven't
said that
seen Right
also.
Away. I put it off as long as possible because you have dreams each time of what a film will be, and you're petrified that it won't live up to that dream.
Right.
So I can wait forever before I see my work.
Are you going to go see this picture?
Oh, I don't know. You know, but I mean, I was really worried about, you know, when your kids want to see your trust agreement after they see a movie, you're kind of worried. You know, are you sure we have money for college?
They
Dad?
want to see the will before they... Yeah. Well, that gives you a little insecurity. Are you a tough critic on yourself when you see yourself work?
I can't see myself work. I just really cannot. I get petrified. I don't know what it is. I don't like what I see.
I had not seen the first concert you had done. I'd seen the other concert, but I had not seen the one you'd done, I think, in Long Beach a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I saw that on television. I was hysterical. I literally was hysterical, screaming with laughter. I mean, you ought to see it. It's very funny.
You know something? If I appear strange to you or something, I hope I don't.
No.
But it's just like, you know, in life you change. You go through a lot of changes. And sometimes it's an energy thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't drink anymore or do drugs, right?
Right.
And it really is just strange meeting people I used to know when I was drunk and loaded. Because I don't have the same, I don't remember them, first of all.
Right.
You know, they go, Richard, how you doing? Hi. And I find, no, it's real interesting.
You remember being here?
I was here once, wasn't I?
No.
I remember stuff, you know, I remember stuff like this, but it's just, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Something
I know what you're
it's
trying
not
to say.
interesting.
No, yes, it is. Well, Zimbabwe will do that to you. Get real mellow. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back. Stay where you are.
How you doing?
We're back with Richard Pryor and Bette Davis. Tell me about Superman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Superman. You know, I really...
Is this Superman 3? Superman 3.
Superman, you know, 1 was like my favorite movie, Superman. I
Yeah.
like that. And
Did you read it as a comic when you were a kid?
No.
No?
I just, in the movie, I liked the movie.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work in it. I was just kidding with some people about working in it. And they called me up and I got a job.
Well, you're hot.
Yeah.
You
so
are hot.
I was flying, I got to tell you, flying with Christopher Reeves, Superman. And they fly you on these wires.
I was going to ask you how they do that.
And in the studio, when you rehearse flying, it's real nice, you know, because there's mats on the floor and there's walls, you know, and you feel real comfortable. But then they take you outside, you know, and they put you up about 60 feet. And, man, hey. I mean, I'm up there and the wires move wrong, then you get all
Are there any
tanked.
mats or anything when you're outside?
No, ma'am. There was
No
concrete.
protection?
No.
You're crazy.
Yes. Well, That's been said.
Yeah. Good job. We can get an affidavit on that. Oh, yeah. And those are the little piano wires, and
Yeah.
now they stretch out.
But
You
what's
like?
funny, though, I was really petrified, man. I'm talking about I was ready to cry.
Yeah.
I was up there, and Chris said, don't worry, I've got you. And I looked at him, and I looked at his wires, and we both hanging up there like Pinocchio, and he's talking about I've got you. And I said, this guy really believes.
Are you Superman's pal? Is this it?
Yeah, we end up being friends. I tried to kill him, and
Yeah.
then I ended up
Was he
being
married to Lois Lane? Did they?
No, they didn't get married.
I thought they got married.
He got divorced. He kissed her and divorced her. Remember? Gave her that super kiss.
Oh. Yeah.
Wiped her memory, clean
Yeah.
out.
Did they ever consummate that
Consummate?
relationship in the picture?
No, he wasn't Superman when he did it.
I did. Well, that's right. He would be Clark Kent,
Yeah, he
wouldn't
was Clark Kent.
I didn't
Clark
know
that. But in this one, he makes love to a woman as Superman.
Ah.
Yeah. I ain't gonna tell no more. No, it's
Was he-
good.
Does
he
he
faster
do it
than a-
differently as Superman?
He does it faster.
Yeah. That's right. Unfortunately, Lois Lane is wearing a kryptonite coil, so so nothing happened. I'm sorry about that. No, I'm not either. I think it's very late at night. Might as well drop one in there just for the late nighters. So now you go back home to.
Yeah, for a while.
You like Hawaiian music?
I like Hawaiian people. I
Yeah.
like the music. I like the land. I love it there very much.
Yeah.
But after a while, I thought I was going to take off a year. You know, I said I'm taking a year
I remember.
off, and I'm not working. I was very serious for the first 3 or 4 weeks. And I don't know. It's just something that you start thinking. You get ideas when you're off. You know, and
Yeah.
so I have opportunity now to do something about them. So I'm going to.
Good, you gonna start working again?
Yeah.
Great. We'll take a short time out and be right back. Hey, this has been fun. I thank you for coming, Rich. It's good to see you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you again. Miss Davis, Betty, thank you.
Oh, I've loved it.
This has really been a
have.
thrill tonight. I'm humbled by that applause.